Congratulations, you're famous. You are the most followed person on social media. You have more followers than Cristiano Ronaldo, Elon Musk, and some of the biggest celebrities alive. Your name is no longer just a word. It is a global brand. Your face is the first thing people see when they open their phones and the last thing they see on billboards before they go to sleep. You spend your entire life dreaming about becoming famous. You are 7 years old imagining the crowd screaming your name, the money, the trophies, the interviews, the luxury cars, the attention. You think fame will solve everything. You think once the world finally notices you, all the pain, insecurity, and struggle will disappear. So you work harder than everyone around you. You sacrifice sleep, relationships, and peace just to make it out. You have achieved the ultimate modern dream. You are the most famous person on Earth. It feels like a superpower. Cameras follow you everywhere. Your phone never stops buzzing. Millions of strangers begin discussing your life like they know you personally. At first it felt incredible. You feel important. You feel unstoppable. You walk into a restaurant and the hostess stops breathing. You don't need a reservation. They create a table for you in the center of the room. Heads turn in a synchronized wave as you pass. It's an intoxicating rush of validation. For a few months, you feel like a god. But then, it all starts. The pressure begins to grow heavier than you expected. Every mistake becomes public. Every bad game, awkward interview, or controversial moment turns into headlines and trending topics. You no longer have the luxury of failing privately. The world watches everything you do, waiting for either your next success or your downfall. Slowly, you stop feeling like a person and start feeling like a performance. The strangest part is how lonely it becomes. You are surrounded by people every day, yet you trust almost nobody. Some people want your money, others want your influence. Some only care about the image attached to your name. You begin questioning every friendship and relationship in your life. The more famous you become, the harder it becomes to know who genuinely cares about you. The crowds get louder, but internally, life becomes quieter and emptier. At the same time, you slowly stop recognizing yourself. The world no longer wants the real you. It wants the version of you that entertains them. So you learn to stay on all the time. You force confidence even when you feel broken. You smile through exhaustion. You perform through pain. Day after day, interview after interview, appearance after appearance, you become a character built for the public. And eventually, when you finally get a moment alone, you realize something terrifying. You do not even know who you are without the fame anymore. You realize you can't leave. You're sitting in that restaurant and you notice 30 different people holding up their phones. They aren't eating, they're recording you chewing. They're waiting for you to drop a fork or spill a drink. You aren't a guest anymore, you're an exhibit. So you build the bubble. You hire the security team. At first, it's just one guy to keep the crowds back. Then it's 4. Then it's a motorcade. You move into a house with a gate, then a house with a double gate, then a compound with a 24-hour armed perimeter. You realize that to be this famous, you have to live in a self-imposed prison. You haven't walked into a grocery store in 3 years. You've forgotten what it feels like to browse a bookshelf or pick out your own apples. Your security team does that for you. You live in a world of advanced notice. Every move you make is a tactical operation involving radio checks and perimeter sweeps. But it's the people you love that change the most. You invite your best friend from high school over. You just want to play video games like you used to. But he won't stop taking pictures of the view. He asks you for a quick shout-out for his cousin's business. He laughs at your jokes before you even get to the punchline. He's careful with you. He's managing you. You realize he's no longer your friend. He's a fan who happens to have your old phone number. The honesty is gone. Everyone around you becomes a yes person. They agree with your bad ideas. They tell you that you look great when you look tired. They are all terrified of being kicked out of the bubble, so they stop telling you the truth. Then come the strangers who think they know you. Because your life is documented in 4K resolution, people feel like they are your best friends. They approach you with a level of intimacy that is terrifying. They know your dog's name, your mother's birthday, and the street you grew up on. When you don't give them enough time, or when you're tired and don't want to take a photo, they turn. The same person who called you an inspiration 30 seconds ago is now calling you a diva on Twitter. You realize that the public's love is a leash that can be canceled at any moment. You spend millions on a PR team just to keep the narrative straight. You are constantly apologizing for things you didn't do and defending yourself against people you've never met. The lawsuits start next. People realize your name is a lottery ticket. A person you haven't spoken to in a decade sues you for emotional distress. A contractor overcharges you by 400% because they know you won't check the bill. And if you do, they'll leak a story about you being cheap. Your legal team grows larger than your actual family. You spend your Tuesday mornings in depositions, answering questions about your private life to lawyers who are just looking for a settlement check. You become a deep pocket. You stop trusting anyone new. You try to find a real connection. You meet someone. She's beautiful, she's smart, and for a week it feels normal. Then you see it. You're at dinner and she accidentally leaves her phone face up on the table while she goes to the bathroom. You see a text from her friend asking, "Did you get the photo yet?" Or, "How many followers did you gain?" You realize you aren't a partner. You're a trophy. You're a way for her to get into the rooms she's always wanted to enter. You stop calling her. 2 days later, there's a story in a magazine about your messy breakup, filled with private details only she could have known. You retreat further into the compound. You have 50,000 square feet of marble floors and gold fixtures. You have a movie theater, a bowling alley, and a gym. You have everything a human could ever want, and you use none of it. You spend most of your time in a small office looking at the screens. You watch the news ticker mention your name. You watch the comments section of your latest post. 10,000 people say they love you. One person says they hate you. You spend 4 hours thinking about that one person. That is when substances begin creeping into your life. Maybe it starts small. Something to calm your nerves before a performance. Something to help you sleep after your mind refuses to slow down. Something to silence the anxiety that follows you everywhere. Something to escape the pressure for just a few hours. At first it feels temporary, harmless even. But over time you stop using substances to feel good. You start using them just to feel normal, to quiet your mind, just to survive another day inside the machine your life has become. The money only makes the spiral easier. You can afford anything instantly. Nobody around you tells you to slow down because your fame benefits them too. The parties become part of your routine. The late nights stop feeling dangerous. People laugh off your behavior because they think this is just what fame looks like. And the more people normalize your self-destruction, the less you realize how far you are falling. Your mother calls. She's the only person who still sounds the same. She talks about the weather or a neighbor's cat. For 5 minutes, you feel like a human being again. But then she mentions the news. She's worried about what the tabloids said. You have to spend 20 minutes explaining that it's all lies. You realize your fame has stolen her peace of mind too. She has paparazzi parked at the end of her driveway because she's the mother of the legend. You've turned her quiet life into a circus just by being successful. One night, you're standing on your balcony. You can see the lights of the city in the distance. You know that down there, thousands of people are talking about you. They're arguing about your latest movie, your latest relationship, your latest mistake. They think they own a piece of you. They think they know your soul. But as you look out at the dark hills of your property, you realize the truth. The world knows everything about you, but nobody actually knows you. You are the most recognizable person on the planet, and yet you are completely invisible. You walk back inside, through the silent, empty hallways of your palace. The security cameras track your movement from room to room, their little red lights blinking in the dark. They are the only things left that are truly watching you. You go to bed and pull the covers up. Tomorrow you have to go out and be the famous person again. But tonight in the quiet, you're just a person in a very expensive room, wondering when the noise is finally going to stop.